I don't have any objection to an adult buying any kind of music, going to any kind of movie, be it X-rated, R-rated, whatever. In our society, the young people don't have those same privileges, nor should they. They're not in a position to make those judgments. And as adults, it seems to me we have a responsibility to guide them in some fashion. Now, I'm not saying that I favor censorship, but I certainly think that from what I've heard in some of these albums and what I read in some of these lyrics, that I don't think that these women, wives of the Congress people, are totally wrong.
But generally speaking, though, when you pick up an album, and once your children are old enough to start buying albums, they know what they're buying. They know what they're going to get. Whether it says something on there, if it's stamped or not, they know. If it's dirty, they know it's dirty. If it's a clean, nice, grade A, wholesome Ricky Nelson album, they know they're getting that. If it's Twisted Sister, they know. The kids know what they're buying.
I don't deny that for a minute that they know.
So I don't think the label's going to stop.
How is a parent supposed to know? Well, that came home with a label on it. The parent would know, wouldn't they?
If the parents saw it.
I believe that, you know, you go to a record store and you see 14-year-olds. They're not there with their parents picking out music.
No, they buy it by themselves.
Right? But you've got a lot of young people. Now, at this time of year, for example, a lot of gifts will be records. Right? Aunts and uncles are going to go out and they're going to say, well, gee, Johnny wants Pleasure Victim. Pleasure Victim. Right? Hey, there's an album, Pleasure Victim. Now, how is an adult to know who's buying a gift or Twisted Sister? Buy him any album. He loves Twisted Sister. Auntie, Auntie, buy a Twisted Sister album for Johnny. He's 10 years old. He likes it because he's got a 15-year-old brother who plays it, so naturally he's going to like it.
Also, we're looking at this from the point of view that when you buy an album, you listen to every cut. That's not so. When people buy albums, they listen to the cuts they like. So the cut that is sexually explicit could be overlooked entirely, or it could be the most played. But most people do not listen to an entire album, especially kids. They find those 2 or 3 songs they really like. You'd be surprised. They'd be better off buying a 45 because they'll play 2 or 3 songs and never touch the grooves on the other albums, on the other songs.
But they sit and listen to the music and they read the album covers and they read the lyrics and they come across something that is really spicy and they say, well, I'm going to listen to that one. And it's all right there. I mean, even if you can't hear it in the music, you can read the poetry.
If it's in,
and some of the poetry is good, and some of it, they don't need to resort to that for good music. We'll be back with more about censorship, quote unquote, in modern music, and maybe in some earlier music when we come back after these messages.
Come on. Oh, come on. Woo. Let's get it on. Ah, baby. Let's get it on. Come on. Oh, come on. Woo. Let's get it on.
And we're back with more of Struminski. Don Michaels, music director at WARA. Larry Tocci, morning jock. You like that picture?
Can I take this home?
Well, no, you can't take that home. People who are listening in on radio side can't see all of these things.
Hold it next to the microphone.
Hold it. Listen, if you want to jump into this discussion, we'd love to have you become a part of it. Give us your thoughts and ideas. 222-2600, 222-2320. Larry Tocci and Don Michaels are here, and I think we're having something of a disagreement. The young people who are working here in the studio, the college-age people, are jumping in. They're angry with me. I mean, they don't believe that anybody even listens to the lyrics. Is that so? Do you believe that the 12-year-old who buys these albums is only stomping their feet and listening to the beat?
Depends how mature they are.
It depends on, and it depends on how the song is sung, how it's performed. I read a survey where they showed most young men, boys, 13, 14, 15, who we're talking about, if you put the same age grouped boys, 13, 14, 15, and girls, same age, separate them, play the same song, the boys be going, all right, yeah. The better the beat, the more macho, the more guts into it. And I don't mean words as far as guts. I mean gutsy vocals and good hard beat. They're going, all right, I'm going to go home. And the girls, on the other hand, they're listening attentively to the lyrics and saying, and I love him because he's cute. You know, to all they listen to it.
So maybe we should let the boys buy them, but not the girls. Is that it?
But what I'm saying, though, is the girls, I think, listen to it for more out of out of love or affection, not out of maybe what the song is saying. You know, not saying exactly what the song is saying. They translate it into their own words.
And they're getting plenty of love and affection in the lyrics of these songs, aren't they?
Not only the hard rock, even top 40 rock people too.
But
Madonna. What would they have to put a rating on Like a Virgin? Just the title off the album.
I don't know the lyrics to the song, so I can't tell you.
We don't even
Like a
have it here.
Virgin, touched for the
Touched
very
for the very first time.
I was stuck for a word there.
Well, let's use the one that's in the song.
Touched for the very first time.
Yeah.
And that was a big hit.
How many times have I played that? I still don't know the lyrics. I don't know.
You know.
Tell you.
And that was a top 10 song?
That sure was.
Yeah.
Number one off her album.
Now, okay, we continue to take upon mostly rock artists, but Frank Sinatra comes out with a song, or an album. In it, he's talking about love on one song. And he's getting, Oh Blue Eyes is getting emotional. And he's getting real, not suggestive, but you know how he does it, in his own style, his own mannerism. Should that be stamped?
No.
Why?
We just got through saying that there are some things that are subject to one's interpretation. If Frank Sinatra is crooning a tune and it happens to be very romantic, I don't see anything unacceptable about that.
But I bet if a
I
rock group
find
did
it
the same
very
thing, they'd
objection.
stamp it.
No, but it isn't. It isn't.
No,
I
but
mean,
what I'm saying is
it
if a rock
isn't-
group
it
did
isn't
that, they'd
even
stamp it.
suggestive, Larry Tocci. It isn't suggestive. Feel the fire, right?
Campfire Girls.
Yeah, sure. Right? I mean, I wouldn't even read this on the show. I wouldn't read the lyrics to this song on this show because I think it's objectionable
I'll
for
read
the
it on my
adults
show
even who are
tomorrow.
listening tonight.
He'll
Yeah,
do
well,
it.
you'll read
He'll
it
do
on
it.
yours. We'll give it to somebody else. But the
Lean,
fact
get the
is,
fire on.
the fact is it's not just suggestive. It's plain out and out objectionable, and I can't imagine that there's any parent of a young person who would not find this album and most of these albums objectionable.
But it's just like the FCC used to be they used to regulate radio so strongly. Now, I think that one of the stations that made a major breakthrough was WJOK in Washington, D.C. It's an all-joke radio station. No comments about ours. And it's...
Or 5 to 9.
and it's comedy, 24-hour comedy service. And after, I think it's 10 p.m., they run uncensored Richard Pryor comedy cuts. Now, Richard Pryor, every other word is plain filth, and he gets really raw. And the people complained, and they wrote letters, they filed petitions. The FCC said, if you don't like it, turn to another radio station, and that station is successful financially and popular in its numbers
Oh,
for its
I don't
service.
doubt that.
And so
But
I think I think if you don't want to listen to it, you don't have to. You don't have to buy that album, or you can buy it and not listen to the
I
cut.
understand that, and I don't object to adults having that choice. Any adult wants to read the lyrics, listen to the songs in these albums, even if they, for 17, 18, whatever it is. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the young people having access to this and being influenced by it at that age.
Then the only way you can stop it is by putting an
Why
age
don't
limit
you
on
play
it.
that music on your show?
What's this?
Where is this music? Why don't we play this music on the radio? Why don't we play this stuff that MTV won't even show a video of?
Because
Of
we don't
Prince.
find it popular for our format, for our audience.
But
But, if we programmed a radio station where that was popular, you
But
better
you're
believe
telling
we'd
me
play it.
how, clandestine stuff sells. Maybe we need to be playing this stuff on the radio, right?
But we have proven that that's not popular for our audience. It may be popular for another radio station, though.
They play these
It's
these
the market.
records
It's the
on
market in there. That's the big.
the
that's
hard
number
rock stations today.
Right.
Are
Top 40
playing.
hard rock.
Are they playing the objectionable stuff? What
AOR,
we're saying?
yeah.
Some
Not
of them
just the hits that we're talking about.
No, they have a tendency to play album cuts, AOR, album-oriented radio, and they're quite popular with it.
What kind of big station is that? Is it BRU in Providence?
Now, that's a college station, of course, who has a strong following for this type of music.
Yeah, and they got college students listening to it. That's an age I don't have any problem with. I think 18-year-old should be able to listen to whatever he
Now,
wants to
one
do.
question
He's a
for you.
consenting adult.
One question for you. What would be your son's favorite songs? Do you know?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I am
Maybe he's
sure-
listening.
Well, he might be. I am sure, though, that many, the Van Halens and the
Yeah.
Motley Crue and the all of these are popular with all of the kids.
Sure.
I mean, you gotta be part of your peer group also. I mean, you can't walk around listening to Frank Sinatra when you're 14 years old. You're a screwball.
Now,
So if they're wearing the Motley Crue shirts, then it's Motley Crue. If you're going to the AC/DC concert, it's AC/DC. If it's Twisted Sister, or I don't understand why they find it necessary to do that to be popular. I don't understand that.
I don't think they necessarily do it to be popular.
Well, I
think
don't
they
know.
just
Maybe
do
we
it
can
because it's
pursue
part of
it.
their
I
personality.
want to hear from some people out there. They've been terribly quiet. Maybe it's been a listening kind of a format tonight. This is supposed to be a talk format, and we're doing all the talking. We got some people on the line. 222-2600. We'll be back after this.
I'll tell you all about it.
And we're back with Struminski, our final segment. We want to go to our phones. We've got Don Michaels, Larry Tocci here. We're talking about rating music albums, trying to make people aware of what's inside of them. And obviously we don't agree on it, but let's go to our listeners. Hello, you're on the air.
When you were talking about what kids listen to,
Yes.
I'm a 14-year-old, and I know I listen to just the music. I don't listen to the lyrics. And my friends listen to the lyrics too. My friends listen to the music. They don't just listen for the lyrics.
I can accept that, but don't you find yourself laying on the bed, looking at the album cover, following the song with the lyrics that are provided by the album? You ever find yourself doing that?
Sometimes.
Don't you find some stuff in there that's rather raunchy?
Yes.
What are you laughing about? You do, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
those are sick.
Oh, they are sick.
Yeah.
Do you think they belong in the songs? Do you think
Some of the stuff doesn't.
Okay, so you agree some of it is probably unnecessary, right?
Yep.
Great. Okay, listen, thanks for the call. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, Ron. How are you?
Good. I think I'm okay.
Not really.
I'm not okay.
Not really. Hi, Larry. Hi, Don.
How
How you doing, guy?
Doing fine.
Go to work.
He doesn't wear hockey pucks. Don't work.
I just figured out why people are worried about the records, and you pointed it out, Ron. Without, I don't even think you realized you pointed it out. Don asked you if you knew what your son's favorite song is, and you didn't. That points out a communication problem.
Well, I don't think
Wait a
so.
minute, and that's why...
I don't think so. Why should I be as familiar with the music he listens to? I don't think that proves anything.
No. That's why people are worried about it, because they don't realize what their kids listen to and why they listen to it. If you had a communication if you had an open communication line with your child, they can listen to anything they want. They'll come to you and ask you questions. You know what their favorite songs are, and I think that's why so many people are worried about what's in these records, because those communication lines aren't open.
There are people who don't think they should have to discuss these things with a 10-year-old caller. I don't think that maybe...
They have the right to believe that.
Yeah, right.
I don't.
But that's your opinion.
That's right.
What do you think, Larry? Do you think you're ready to talk about some of the things you know are in this music with an 8 or 9-year-old? Why should you be put in that position by a record company?
I don't think...
They're making decisions for me, it seems.
You're put in that position by the world today.
Well, I don't have to like it.
No, you don't. But you should be open with your children to discuss anything.
Well, let's not get carried away. I mean, I don't want to talk about incest.
Anything they want to ask questions about, you should be willing to talk to them about, no matter what age. If they're asking questions, they're ready to know.
I don't know if that's the issue.
Well, it is.
They come to me with a question. I think that certainly we should answer the questions. But I'm not sure that I want those questions being brought to their minds by the kind of filth that's being directly presented in these record albums. I'm sorry. All right, listen, we're gonna move along.
That's her opinion.
All right. Hello, you're next on the air.
I am.
Sure, go ahead.
There.
Go ahead.
Everybody. How are you tonight?
Thank you. Fine.
Okay, well, I'm parent of a 10-year-old, among others.
Is the 10-year-old the oldest or the youngest?
He's the oldest.
Oldest.
His favorite group is Quiet Riot. And I'll have to say there's a lot of the music that I like, too. I have been caught by surprise by some of it, though, and I don't want a censorship. I do want a service that gives me information, though. When you go to buy an album, I do have that kind of control. Being a 10-year-old, I find most albums are $9 and up. he doesn't buy them. You don't have the types of stores around here where you go into a listening booth and can listen to it. Or what do? Rip off the cellophane plastic jacket that's over it so you can pull the lyrics out of the album if they're there?
Not all are provided with lyrics.
All right, and that's an interesting point because one of the suggestions is that the record companies do just that. On the back of the album, put the lyrics of the songs that are in there. Never mind putting an X and R. Let each individual
That
decide
might be a
that.
good idea,
But
to
at
do
least give the purchaser, give the adult who's buying it an opportunity to stand in that aisle and read those lyrics and see if indeed I want to buy that for my 10-year-old. I think that's a reasonable compromise.
Yeah, that's all I want is some information.
Yeah, I can buy that.
Better information than censorship because, like I said, you're going to draw attention to it, and the kids
Sure.
are going to buy it anyway, and they're going to buy a lot more of it because they're going to know that they can. It'd be just like a 14-year-old boy going to my old story who can finally get that Playboy he's always wanted to gawk at, that Dad hides
Sure,
away, you know?
sure.
Well, and you yourself said, Larry, that, for the most part, most stations don't play the music that is objectionable. That has things that you really don't want to be listening to and don't want your child to be listening to. So how can you can't even say that you're going to sit there for hours maybe listening to a station you don't want to listen to at all in order to find out.
Right.
Because they probably won't be playing it anyway.
Right. The other stations will probably play a harder selection of music than we do, but it's nothing wrong about it. It's just a harder selection of music. There's nothing raunchy or dirty about it.
All right, listen, I got to let you go. I want to get in a couple more, but we're almost out of time. Thanks a
Okay.
lot, Jan. Hello, you're next on the air. Hello,
Marcel.
are you there? Hello, you're on the air. Oh, you're not on the air. It's there. I rushed her off.
The other thing that we mentioned off the air was that the record companies will now, they're thinking about rating the records, but if I'm recording for Columbia and he's recording for Arista, my material could be okayed and his could be stamped explicit. We switch labels.
Well, I think
everything reverses.
I think these groups that want to do something about the music are asking the record industry at this point to police themselves, that they make the decisions. I'm not sure that that's even strong enough, and yet I think we've all agreed tonight that a reasonable compromise would be to at least provide some information and maybe forget about the rating.
Right.
Let that parent who's going out now at Christmas time be able to read that and make that decision. That certainly
Or
would
at
be a
least ask,
viable alternative.
communicate with your
Yeah.
child and ask why he or she wants that album.
All right, let's take
Find
one
out.
more. Hello, you're on the air. I don't know if that's the ray gun man. How much time do we have? We have time to take one more? 30 seconds. Oh, goodness. Gentlemen, we got kind of rolling a little bit late. Maybe we're going to have a part 2 of this show and pick up where we left off. Larry Tocci, Don Michaels, thanks for being
Time for me
on
to go
the
to
air.
bed, guy.
You got to go to bed and
I'll
get
see you
ready
later.
for the 5 o'clock show.
You can go back
Next
to
week, another interesting show on Struminski. I've got 2 extraordinary ladies. Don't miss it. Lean, put the coffee on. I'll be right home.